This is part 2 of how to make a baby's bed. If you haven't seen part 1, I'll leave a link in the description. I want a headboard on one side of the bed and open on the other side so the baby can climb in. So I need to determine how high or how long I want the legs. I made all 4 legs the same height. However, the 2 legs at the foot of the bed are going to be shorter than at the head of the bed. But I wasn't sure what the dimensions were going to be because of the guardrails, so I had to mark those and cut those later. You'll see what I do at the end of the video. I want the top of the bed frame to be 12 inches off the floor. This will make it easier for the baby to get in and out of the bed. Incidentally, if I haven't mentioned it before, this bed is being made for a 2-year-old. This board represents the bed frame, and these 2 boards represent the headboards. So you can see here I'm holding my ruler 12 inches to the top of the bed frame, and that represents how far the bed is going to be off the floor. Then you can see here with the 2 pieces for the headboard, my dimension comes out to 23 1/8. I'm not worried about the 1/8 of an inch, so I'm just going to make them 23 inches long. These are the parts you'll get from one 8-foot 2x6. You'll need 8 pieces 23 inches long, so you'll need 2 2x6s. First I'll cut the end off to make it straight and clean. Now I want both sides of the leg to be even, so I'm going to have to take 1.5 inches off one of the pieces. You can see here one side would be longer than the other if we didn't take the 1.5 inches off. Another way to do this is to miter the edges. However, I feel that's a lot of work I don't need to do. I'm happy with just butting them together. Now I'll set the fence to 4 inches and rip 4 of the pieces down. When I cut these, I'm going to try and get rid of the part of the board I don't like. You can see on this board I'm going to get rid of the saw marks so I don't have to worry about sanding them out. Construction lumber comes with an eased edge, so I'm going to set the saw to cut 1/8 of an inch off the board so I have a flat edge when I nail the 2 pieces together. I'm only going to do this to the wider board. You can see here by cutting that off, I have a nice sharp edge to butt the other piece to. Now I'm going to mark out for my screw holes. I'm going to do this on the wider piece, and I'm marking them out on the side I made the clean cut on. I am going to plug the holes, but you need to mark them and space them evenly because you will see them. Then I'll mark the centers of the holes 3/4 of an inch in. I need the hole to be 3/8 of an inch for my 3/8 plugs, and I need it to be 3/4 of an inch deep. I'm going to use a 3/8 spade bit and mark it 3/4 of an inch with a marker, and then wrap it with tape to set the depth. I also want to make sure I drill the holes on the good side of the board because that's the side you'll see. Now I'm going to drill the pilot holes. Always drill the pilot holes after the spade bit. If you drill the pilot holes first and then use the spade bit wobbles on the hole and doesn't give you a true round hole. I'm going to use wood glue and screws to put them together. Here I'm using 2.5-inch screws. Because the screw holes are 3/4 of an inch deep and 3/8 wide, you're going to need a longer Phillips bit in order to screw the screws in. You can see here how long the Phillips bit is to reach the screw. Now I'm going to use my 3/8 plug cutter in the drill press to cut 16 plugs. I'm going to cut a few extra just in case they break. Now I'll glue and set the plugs. When I'm installing the plugs, I like to put the grain in the same direction as the grain of the board.
With the grain, you don't want it going.
Now it's time to sand the legs. The most difficult part about this project is all the sanding. So I wasn't paying attention when I put these legs together, and I put a defect to the outside when it should have been to the inside so it wasn't be visible. So I'm going to use this wood filler to fill it, and then when it's dry we'll come back and sand that portion. Now I'll finish sanding the rest of the legs. Next, I'm going to route all the edges of the legs. I'm going to use the same 1/2-inch roundover bit that I used on the bed frame. Now do the other 3 legs the same way. Okay, so I'm going to mark for these blocks where I want to put some more of these blocks. Just helps to put things together. So the top of my frame I want to be 12 inches. So minus 5.5 for the 2x6. Mark there. So now I need to mark them 6.5 inches up. This is where the bed frame is going to sit, right here on top of these blocks. All these blocks are for us to help in the assembly process. Now I'll glue and nail the blocks on, and I'll do this to all 4 legs. Now guess what? More sanding. Now I'm going to finish sanding with a 120 grit sandpaper on my Orbital sander. I'll do all 4 legs and then I'll do the frame. After I'm done sanding the frame, the next step will be putting the bed together and measuring for the guardrails. And that will be in the next video. Make sure you subscribe and hit the bell icon so you don't miss out on part 3 of the series. Until next time, thanks for watching.